After 9 o'clock, welcome to the program. This is where we welcome our Polokwane listeners to On One Nation FM. Thank you for joining us. We do hope you're going to enjoy the second hour with us right here on Salam Media. Our next guest is Herman Mashaba, ActionSA President. We're going to be talking about the manifesto. We're also going to talk about, I guess, things really hotting up now regarding the upcoming elections. We've not had a date announced as yet, but of course, the hard work is starting right now. A very good morning to you, Herman Mashaba. Thank you indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Julian. Good morning to Salam Media listeners. Always a real pleasure to really be given this opportunity to be on your platform.
As we've indicated, the hard work starts now. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about your manifesto. And we're also going to talk about your tagline, Let's Fix South Africa. Um, Is it possible? Is it possible after all of the years of corruption? All the parties are promising that if they are voted into power, or if they go into a coalition, they are promising that things will be different. But after all the years of rot, do you really believe things can be different?
Well, I think I'm a strong believer that one man breaks, man can fix. Yes, is it easy? I've really been taught throughout my life that life is not an easy environment to be in. But I think I've always appreciated the fact that as human being, God has given us the brains to assist us to navigate the challenges that we encounter on a daily basis. Life has never really been easy for me over the last 64 years, and I don't expect it to really be easy going forward. However, I strongly believe that if one uses his God-given brains and one is committed to the cause, one can obviously fix the problem. Without any doubt, only action can fix South Africa's problems. We've been besieged by 30 years of blatant corruption that really I personally feel betrayed by what happened, because I grew up, spent half of my life under an evil system of apartheid. 27th of April 1994, voted for Mandela, voted for Thabo Mbeki in 1999. I thought for the first time in my life, I felt as a citizen of this country, I thought we were going to see an explosion of the talent of our people. Unfortunately, the opposite today it's what we are experiencing. Can it be fixed? Without any doubt, I strongly believe it can be fixed. If I look at my personal experience as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, when I took over as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg in August 2016, I inherited a city broken, literally broken, with 170 billion rands backlog, a city with deep-rooted corruption, with a city which was at the epicenter of the Gupta state capture, a city run by cadres. But what I did, identified all these challenges, immediately tackled one of them at a time. Made sure that I immediately instituted a skills audit to make sure that we can professionalize our administration, and that 3 years later, I'm sure people of the residents of Johannesburg can attest to this. I set up a group forensic and investigation office led by General Sibia, first in a municipality, to deal with cases of corruption. In the 3 years, uncovered 35 billion rands of fraud and corruption, and it's actually quite sad for me. People who are involved in corruption are sitting today in parliament. They are part of the cabinet of our president, but we fought it. Unfortunately, I did not have the support of our law enforcement agencies to prosecute those who were involved in crime. We started dealing with the issue of open on borders. We started dealing with hijacked buildings in the city of Johannesburg. In the 3 years as a mayor, expropriated 154 buildings, gave them to the private sector to build affordable accommodation for South Africans, bring in 32 billion rands of investment in the city, creating 22,000 permanent jobs, creating 14,000 housing opportunities. Unfortunately, before the implementation of the system, that's when it became to my attention about the ANC and DA having the plans to remove me as a mayor. My sin from the DA was that I was providing services to poor communities. The ANC was aware of my pursuit of their criminal activities. Can it be replicated at national level? In fact, at national level, for me, I believe if one gets into power at national level, it'll be easy because you will have the criminal justice system to ensure that those found guilty of corruption are punished, because we will reestablish the scorpions. We will re-establish specialized units to deal with cases of murder. As you are aware, on Friday, the Minister of Police confirmed to us in laughing, 83 people are being murdered in this country every single day. We have international drug cartels bringing drugs into our communities to destroy our nation. So I believe actually at the national level, if one gets the power at the national level, it'll be much easier. Will it be a walk in the park? I think I'll be lying to you, but I strongly believe that action will fix South Africa. And I think I'm working hard. As you're aware, we've been trying to set up this interview for the last 2 weeks. I've been unable to because I'm on the road all the time, mobilizing South Africans to understand that our house is burning. The only thing that can save this house, put out this fire, is for them to register to vote. Let's come out in numbers to remove this uncaring, unpatriotic government.
So, Herman, I'm looking at your manifesto, and it's very similar to the other newer, smaller parties that are coming on board. Um, it sounds really good on paper. Will you be able to deliver? Number one. Number two, we do know what sort of writing is on the wall. We do know lots of smaller parties are going to have to go into coalitions to be workable, to be a workable force, and to get the country back on its feet, if that in fact will happen anytime in the near future. What do you say to the fact that all of these manifestos of the smaller parties sounds very similar?
I think, actually, to just give you an idea, you're talking about manifestos being similar. Tell me, have you looked at the ANC manifesto? They are against corruption. So what I'm saying is it's really what people actually say and what they do. All
Deliver.
these small parties that you are talking about, they don't have the kind of experience that I have. I've got almost 40 years of running business, starting business at the age of 22, in the height of apartheid, when PW Botha said to me, I cannot do it. And I wasn't doing this to prove to PW Botha that I was going to do it. I was doing it because it was the right thing to do. Look at when I took over the city of Johannesburg in 2016. Everyone, the media, the analysts. You remember how the analyst before I took over as the mayor, thought that I was running a stokvel. I was the biggest joke to come into politics. Today, where are they? You look at
Let
our
me come in
performances.
here. Let me come in here, and I say from the bottom of my heart, we commend you for what you did in the 3 years that you were mayor for Johannesburg. It was a sad day when obviously you stepped down, because the city is in a much worse situation than it has ever been in the history of Igoli, the city of gold. So undoubtedly, you do sound like a man who walks his talk. But can we focus on coalitions and the promises being made by other parties? Do you think they will be able to deliver?
Surely, I think, for us as ActionSA, and I'd really want to really be unapologetic or about it. us as Action SA, we are working hard to get outright majority, because if we can get outright majority, it will allow us to really be able to implement our policies and our values without obviously watering them down. However, we are pragmatic people. We understand South Africa has entered an era of coalition. It is for that reason we are part of this multi-party charter, where we are looking at what I call better devils, where we agree on fundamental things like free market economy. Because for us as ActionSA, it will never work with any political party that is going to tell us that government must own banks and construction companies. Those are things that we will never accept. So we'll never go into a coalition with such parties. We'll never go into coalition with parties that say South Africa must not have border and we lose our sovereignty. We will never go into the coalition with parties that believes that we need trade unions as partners. We believe no union will have a veto right on our policies. We want to protect the businesses, particularly SMMEs. So these are things that we look at. Parties that are saying they are looking for racial parties. For us as ActionSA, Julie, and I really want to make it clear, and I'm saying this with absolute humility. If one is looking for a racial party, please don't waste my time, because I will not really waste yours. We commit as a ActionSA to build a non-racial South Africa, a nation that must coexist, because at the end of the day, we are all the creation of God. We need to really to coexist, because at the end of the day, you look at me, I'm a proud black person, and someone else who differs with me from the makeup of how God created them. I'm committed to coexist with such people. But we are not a party that is going to say we are a party for a particular group. We are going to be a party for all South Africans. And as
Okay.
our Mhm.
Okay, Herman. So, which party, and we know this is going to be the reality of our elections, which party would you consider to go into coalition with and why?
As you are aware, at the moment, we're in a multi-party charter with the IFP, with the DA, with the Freedom Front Plus, ACDP, and a small other parties. Those are we are about, at the moment, about 11 parties. Last week, there's a party from the Western Cape that wanted to join us, and us as ActionSA rejected this outright. It's a party that wants to see Cape Town secede as an independent province. We said no, we
But
cannot
isn't
really
that
work.
the DA? Isn't that the DA that's wanting that?
Well, I don't think the DA, I'm not a spokesperson for them, but they came out openly, because we as ActionSA issued a statement, and the multi-party party, of which the DA is party to, also came out with a statement to distance themselves from such parties. So, for as far as we are concerned, DA is not for the Western Cape, unless what they tell us and what they do are two different things. But you and I right now, DA over the weekend issued a statement as part of the multi-party to confirm the rejection of this particular party.
I do know in politics there's a lot of horse trading, and you may be very principled, but when you talk about multi-party politics, there has to be a lot of negotiations that happens, and you do need to sometimes forego some of the very strict principles you have on a particular issue, and that's the game of politics, unfortunately. So, a few more questions regarding, the horse trading or the negotiations that happen. I'm looking at one of, from your manifesto, and am I is looking at the correct picture here? Is Dr. Makosi Kosa back on board with you guys? Because she's in the picture here.
Actually, I think I can only laugh about this. No, look, you don't have only Makosi Kosa. You've got someone like Abel Tau and so forth. That picture you have there, it's what, over 3 years old. That's when we started Action SA and some people joining us, and obviously discover that these are the people who don't share the same values with us, and we don't really play. Julie, please, I want your listeners in South Africa to know I'm not in this game to make friends. But one thing, I value friendship. So if you come and join Action SA, because we're a voluntary organization, you are not committed to the cause of South Africa. You are not committed to saving the residents, the South African public. You are here to bring your own stomach. You put it ahead of everything else. You don't have principles. Unfortunately, as Action SA, we are not going to hesitate to get rid of you and really send you into the wilderness. So I think, and I'm saying this with absolute humility, I value friendship, but I'm not going to use friendship in the work that I do, more especially public service. I was at my day years in business, my years at school. Ask people who grew up with me; they know there's certain things that I don't really bring friendship ahead of those issues. Now you can imagine at my age and my stature in civil society, there's no way I will allow anyone to protect me, because my every time I have engagements with South Africans, please, I don't want any South African to protect me, because for wrongdoing, because I want to make it clear to South Africans, anyone working with me, never expect Herman Mashaba to protect me if there's any wrongdoing. So let it really be a mutual relationship of respect, so that it's a relationship built on trust and real values and principles.
Okay, I spoke a while ago with Mustafa Darsot, and I asked him about his stepping away, resigning from Action SA. I must say that he spoke very, very highly of you with the greatest of respect. He mentioned someone else that he believed he couldn't work with. I think it was a Mr. Beaumont, and I think it was about a clash of possible principles and the fact that Action SA wouldn't make a clear enough stance regarding the genocide on the Palestinian people. But let me hasten to add, he spoke with the highest of respect of you, Herman. He really does admire you greatly. Undoubtedly, my thoughts are that he was a loss to Action SA. Could you not have intervened to retain a man of his stature, number one? And let me ask the question once again: what is the stance of Action SA regarding the genocide on the Palestinian people?
I think it's really, obviously, really very unfortunate for us to have lost Mr. Dassault. I also have high regard for him. He served on our Senate for years, and but it's really unfortunate for him to blame Michael Berman, our national chairperson, for the position that we've really taken. I think Senate of Action SA took a conscious, unapologetic decision that colleagues, this issue of the Middle East, it's a very decisive issue. We have sitting in a house that is burning. You've just heard, and I've indicated to you, 83 people are being murdered in South Africa as we speak. Over 12 million South Africans are unemployed, more especially the youth. We have drug cartels coming to destroy our lives, the lives of our youth and our family. Just last Sunday, I was invited by one of the churches in Hebron in Pretoria. Really, it breaks my heart to really look at this government allowing drug syndicates to come and destroy our youth and the families in the interim. So we as Senate, we said, let us not really get involved in this matter at this point in time. when we're not in government. Let us focus our energies in getting our youth to go out and vote and not get involved in things that can be decisive. But at the same time, we are saying we really hope and pray for the Middle East to find a solution so that the one day leadership can emerge that can from both sides that can really want to coexist, like we sitting with our own problems of division by the National Party, by the ANC government. We are praying that we can get in leadership that can actually get all of us to really coexist, and we really pray for the Middle East, but making a decision where you want to stand with one and the other, it can only be divisive, and it's been divisive for the last 2,000 years. And for us, with the country that is burning at this point in time, for us as ActionSA, we said our focus is going to be on getting South Africans to go out and vote this ANC government out of power.
Is it not about who your funders are? We've had some reports coming out over the weekend suggesting who the smaller parties and parties like yours as well. Mainly, it seems as if you have white funders. Do the funders then not call the shots and say you will not make a statement regarding your support for Palestine, etc.? And I kind of wonder how that compromises your very your stance as a very righteous person. How does it sit with you?
Julie, I don't really have to tell South Africans unless they decide to be ignorant, and I will never sympathize with anyone who deliberately becomes ignorant. I started this project with my own funding, for my own family funding, and I still do. So if anyone says I started this movement to remove the ANC because I've got another agenda, let me tell you, Julie, my agenda, and where I've put my own money into it, my agenda is to democratically remove the ANC. And if there are other South Africans who are prepared to assist us and work with us to make sure that we can have a democratic system where we can remove unpatriotic government, uncaring, a criminal enterprise, we will take money from anyone. So at the end of the day, political systems, democracy, people who are used to democracy, they know democratic systems are supported by people who love their country. And for those who love South Africa and they believe ActionSA, it's a vehicle to support, we will accept that. For those who've got their own agenda, they feel that we must not really be supported. It is their problem. It is not ours.
I had my money on Action SA for a very, very long time. And I'm kind of wondering, with Mustafa Darsort having stepped down and, the mixed reviews and reports we've read in the press, are you afraid that Action SA might lose a big, part of the voter population because of your stance regarding the Palestinian issue?
Let me
Because
tell you,
let me say, despite the fact that, and I like what you say, focusing your efforts on the South African situation, we have huge unemployment with the youth, and that's the reason why you touched on drugs. That's the reason why we have this huge drug problem in the country as well, to cripple our young minds. And I'd be very happy to hear that this is something you're going to tackle and get our kids back into the workplace. But because, we're all sentimental and we all, we have humanity within us. And what's playing out in the Middle East is hurting the global population. And I think that more than likely is going to sway a lot of the votes in South Africa. Your thoughts?
my thinking is, with the work that we are doing as ActionSA, to focus right now exclusively on South African house that is burning, where the youth lives are being destroyed, where 83 people, official, not coming from me, are being murdered. Every 11 minutes, a woman is raped in this country. You know what? We are on the ground. One thing I've learned, my grandfather taught me, never to stand on the fence. And once you stand on the ground, you don't stand on the fence, because it says if you stand on the fence, you were going to fall, and when you fall, you're going to hurt yourself. But you must understand, my boy, if you stand on the ground, you are not going to be friends with everyone. What you do, focus on a majority. And that's really what ActionSA is focusing on. It's focusing on women who are being raped every 11 minutes in South Africa. The ActionSA is focused on 83 people being murdered and their families every single day being tortured. The ActionSA is focused on these porous borders, bringing drugs into our communities. And I can assure you without any doubt, electoral support has demonstrated. You look at our performance in 2021. You look at our performance in all the by-elections we've contested. You look at every single day. Today, right now, as I'm talking to you, ActionSA branches are open every day in the country. South Africans are concerned about themselves. South Africans are saying, not that we don't worry about people of the world, but it doesn't help me to go and help my neighbor's house burning when my own is actually on serious fire. Murders that the world has never seen, with the murder capital of the world. That is what I work very hard every day, go into these communities to engage them, so them to really understand that we need to save this country. And fortunately enough, we are winning. Do I lose some in the process? That's what our life is all about. There's not really much I can do. I
Herman
would
Mashaba,
love to give everyone.
spoken as a true politician. Love talking to you. Wish you lots and lots of success in the upcoming elections. And we're going to hold you to all of your promises, stamping out drugs, creating employment for our youth, and more importantly, end corruption and cadre deployment in South Africa. God bless, go well, and all the very best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and robust engagement. Thank you so much.
My pleasure entirely. It is exactly 9:37. News and views on Salam Media, and we move on. Our next interview will be with Guy Martin, editor at Defence Web.